Welcome back aliens, my name is Navin Reddy and let's continue this series on Python. And in this video we'll talk about loops. Now what exactly loop means? Now in programming what you do is sometimes you need to repeat these statements. Example, let's say you have written 5 statements and maybe you want to repeat them. How will you repeat them? Of course there is one way. You can copy paste the same code multiple times. Example, let's say I want to print, let me print telescope. So I want to print telescope once, and if I run this code, of course it will print only once. What if I want to print telescope 2 times? So what we can do is we can just copy paste it, right? So we are good with this. So I will copy paste it and we got 2 telescopes. And if I run this code, you can see we got 2 telescopes. That's working. What if I want to print telescope 10 times? What you will do now? Of course, you can copy paste it 10 times. But don't you think you are doing manual work? What if I want to print 1000 times? So it will be difficult to do that, right? Now the best way to do it is applying a loop. What you can do here is you can say, hey Python, I want to repeat the same statement multiple times. To do that we can use loops. And we can use 2 types of loops. One is called as while loop and second is called as for loop. Let's focus on while here. So we can use a while. So while is a keyword and then you have to specify the condition. See, while will say, okay, my job is to repeat this statement multiple times, but then tell me for how much time you want to do that. I will say, okay, do it for 5 times. But how will I do that? So when you say you want to do it for 5 times, we count, right? We need a counter here. Example, if I say, hey, you, say hello 5 times. I'm talking to you here, okay? So say hello 5 times. What you will do is, in your mind, you will be saying hello once, okay, hello, second time, hello, hello, and hello. So you have a counter there, right? In the same way, we need a counter here. For that, I will be using a variable called as I, and I will say I starts with 1. And then every time, okay, first of all, you have to check, right? How will I check? If the value of I is less than equal to 5, okay, we have to apply a condition, right? So step 1 would be take a counter, a variable, which is I in this case, and check if the value of I is less than 5. And every time you print telescope, just increment the value of I, right? So because you're doing it here, right? So you're saying hello, hello. So you're incrementing the value. So you will say I is equal to I plus 1. That's it. It's so simple. And remember the syntax. So we have to use a while, then we have to specify the condition and a colon. Now this colon specifier, whatever is coming ahead is a part of this block. And this 2 statement belongs to the same suit is because we are using a proper indentation here. And now let me just run this code and you can see we got telescope 5 times. So what is happening behind the scene? And how do I know that? It's very simple. So set the breakpoint and now let's debug it. I love this thing, debugging. And then say F8. And you can see the value of I is 1. Okay, that's done. And then if I again say F8, it is printing telescope once. And you can see that in the console. Okay, you can see that we got hello once. And if I go back to debug it again, the value of I now, so the moment I say F8, the value of I becomes 2. You can see the value of I is 2 now. And it will check if 2 is less than 5, yes, it will go ahead and it will print telescope. You can see if I go back to console, telescope will print second time. And then if I say F8 again, you can see we got value of I is 3. Is 3 less than 5? Yes, it will go ahead, it will print. It will then try to print the statement which is telescope. And you can see in the console we got telescope 3 times. And now the value of I is 4, right? So if you can see the value of I is 4. And then if I say F8, it will print telescope 4th time. You can see that in console. If I switch back to there, you can see we got telescope 4 times. And then the value of I now is 5, right? Is 5 less than equal to 5? Yes, you can see we have equal to there. The evaluation is also true. You can see that, the pop-up. If I say F8, telescope, it will print telescope 5th time. You can see we got 5th time. And if I go to debug it again, say F8, and you can see the value of I is 6. Now the value of I is 6, right? Is 6 less than equal to 5? No, that's a false, right? You can see the pop-up which is false. And if I say F8 now, it will come out. And that's why you got 5 times telescope, right? So this is how you can use while loop. Now 3 things are important here. First is the initialization. Second is the condition. And third one is increment. Oh, can we do decrement here? Yes, we can do decrement as well. So you can do reverse, right? Sometimes we go in this way, hello, 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 hello. Or we can say, so let's say we will do reverse. Hello, 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 right? So we can do that as well. So we'll start with 5 and then we'll reverse the condition. We'll say I is greater than or equal to 1. And instead of saying I is equal to I plus 1, we'll say I is equal to I minus 1. We are going in reverse order. Let's run this code. It works. You can see we got 5 times hello. So we can go ascending or we can do descending, your choice. So there are 3 things important here. 1, assign the value. then condition, and then increment or decrement. Now let's say I don't want to print Telesco here, I want to print the value itself. Or maybe I want to print Telesco with the value, we can do that. So we can say space, comma, I want to print the value of I as well. Let's run this code and you can see it is printing Telesco 5, Telesco 4, Telesco 3, Telesco 2, and Telesco 1. So you can do that. Okay, this is how you work with while loop. Now can I use multiple whiles? I mean, while inside a while, you can do that. So we have done that before as well, right? Example, I will print Telesco once, and then while I'm printing Telesco once, I want to print Telesco rocks multiple times. I want to print Telesco rocks, I want to print rocks 5 times. So what I'll do, I will say while. Oh, now I want to say 5 times, I have to use a different variable, right? And I will be using a variable here, which is j is equal to 1 again. We'll say j less than equal to 4. Let's say I want to print rocks 4 times. We'll give a colon and we'll say print rocks. That's cut. So it will print Telesco and then rocks 4 times. I don't want to print the value of I now, so it will print Telesco and rocks 4 times. So before executing this, you try to guess the output, okay? It's depend upon you now. You tell me what's the output. Okay, will it print Telesco rocks 4 times? See, Telesco itself will be getting printed 5 times, right? And then on every line you will get rocks 4 times. This is what you want, right? But if I run this code, oh, that's weird. It's not stopping anywhere. You know why it's not stopping? Because we forgot to increment the value of j. You know, you learn from mistakes. Let's run this code once again. And you can see we got Telesco rocks 4 times, and then again Telesco 4 times. That is not something which we want. What is going wrong here? Let's try to debug this, you know. So I will just say, hey, debug the application. Now you can see the value of I is 5. In fact, you know, just to make it more simple, let's go with 1. Let's go with increment so that it will be easier for understanding. Because once you understand the basic stuff, you can try it on your own. And remember this, we are using while inside a while, okay? So this is nested while loop. Let me just debug this by applying a breakpoint. Let me say F8, and you can see the value of I is 1. Remember these values. The value of j is 1. Is 1 less than 5? Yes. Let's go inside. It will print Telesco, of course, and you can see in the output console, we will be getting Telesco now. We got Telesco. Now what's the value of j? It's 1. 1 less than 4? Yes. It will go ahead. It will print rocks. It will execute this j equal to j plus 1. So now the value for j is 2. Okay? If I say F8, the value of j is 2. But look at the jump. It is not jumping outside, it's not jumping back to this loop. It is jumping back to the inner loop. Because first it will complete the inner loop, then it will go back to the outer loop. Right? It is something like, you know, we have 7 days a week and each day has 24 hours. Right? So you can imagine the number of days is the outer loop and the number of hours is the inner loop. Right? So what it means, so let's say if you start with Sunday has 24 hours. It will start with 0th hour, then 1 hour, 2nd hour, 3rd hour, 4th hour. Now when you complete the entire 24 hours, it will go for the new day, which is Monday in this case. On Monday as well, we have the same hours, right? 0th hour, 1th hour. So that means every time you change your day, it will restart the number of counting for your hours. So it will first complete the hours, right? So the same thing is happening here. So if I say F8 again, it prints rocks. It will increment the value of j to 3. And that's why you can see, if you see the output, we got 1 Telesco but 2 times rocks. Okay, so that works. In fact, we wanted this, right? We wanted 1 Telesco and 4 rocks. Okay, we'll do that. We'll think about that. If I run this, you can see we got rocks. And once it is getting completed, once the value of j it becomes 5, you can see that the value of j now is 5. If I run this again, it is false. And now it is focusing on I. So I value is 2 now. It went back there. And then again, if I say F8, it will print Telesco, of course. But look at the value for j. J is 5. That's where things are going wrong. Now since j is 5, it is not continuing ahead. Oh, so that was a mistake. So to solve this problem, what we can do is, first we have to do 2 things. I want to print rocks on the same line, right? I don't want to print rocks on new line. So what we can do is, after Telesco, I can give a comma and say end is equal to double quotes. Now what it means, by default when you say print, it will print this statement and comes on new line. I don't want new line, I want to print on same line. Example here, if you see, it is printing Telesco and then it is coming on new line. I don't want that. I want it to print Telesco and stay on the same line. Same thing can be done for rocks. I would say, hey, don't go on new line, stay on the same line. Now I hope it will come on same line. If I say run, okay, so that we got everything on same line. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want all Telesco on same line. We want Telesco on new line. So after incrementing, I will say print. Because see, after completing one Telesco, I want to print on new line. So I will say run. You can see we got Telesco on new lines, but then ROX is coming only for 4 times here. What is going wrong? The value of J reached 5 here, right? So what I will do is, every time I start with the outer loop, I want to restart the value for J, which is 1. It's important. Every time. In fact, we should not be declaring the value here. Let's start here. Okay, so it will initialize here, check for the condition here, and then increment, decrement here itself. Let's run this. This we want, right? So we got Telesco ROX. Now how it is working, let's again go for debug. We'll say debug and say F8. You can see the value of I is 1, I less than 5, yes, it's 1. It will print Telesco and it will not go on new line, okay? It will stay on the same line. Let me jump to console and you can see, if I say F8, Telesco on same line, okay, there's not jumping to next line. The value for J is 1. Is 1 less than 4? Yes, it will go ahead and it will print ROX. And you can see ROX on the same line. And then the value of J is getting incremented to 2 now. So you can see the value for J is 2 here. And then again it will come back, it will print ROX and it will go for J value which is 3. And then it will again, 3 is less than 4, it will print ROX, and then J value is 4. And then it will check, is 4 equal to 4? Yes, it will print ROX. And the value for J is now 5. Now 5 is not less than equal to 4, it will come out. But where? It will come out to this next statement which is I is equal to I plus 1. Now in this case, I equal to I plus 1, it will increment the value for I. So it will make it 2. And then since we are printing, since we are doing print, it will come on new line. You can see the cursor now. Cursor is on new line. I will say, it will continue, okay? So it will do the same thing which we have done till now. So if I go fast, see that. See the sequence. So this is how your loops are working. Now see, since I'm doing this, I have worked on this for a long time, so I know how it works. Now if you're a fresher, you might find this thing difficult, but trust me, the only thing is this is not difficult, this is just unfamiliar. You just need to practice it. The more you practice this concept, it will make your concept very clear. Okay, so we'll be doing that. We'll be doing some more examples with this, printing the patterns like star, or weird stuff. So we'll do that in the further sessions. I hope you got some idea about while loop. In the next video, we'll talk about for loops. So if you're enjoying this series, let me know in the comment section and do click the like button if you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.